Don't Cry For Me Argentina podcast. Okay, settlers come to Arkansas and they see this little stone and they're wondering what will we call this magnificent town.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
I'm going to fight. You were wrong if you thought the upcoming AI event was an event for techs. I'm going to show a few videos that's been on, like Today's Show, Good Morning America, talking about that even Walmart has invested heavily in AI. They have invested in OpenAI, and we know that's cost millions and millions. And now there's products like DeepSeek coming along, but unfortunately, it's Chinese. Any reminder here of Kmart, Walmart, and Sears? How could that happen again? The benefit of this meeting that we're having, and again, this is a little bit unscheduled, and the reason that we've kind of hustled to get this together is to have the right people here, and also the right topics. So we've tried to broaden the topics. You're going to find the people here have been responsible for speech in drive-through restaurants. They've been responsible for retail for years. I've observed some things that they've done with virtual reality, near virtual reality, and Internet of Things. So the friend that's making this happen, Pablo Abian, I've known for 30 years, and we have mutual trust. Now, it's hard to say that when you talk about a Chinese product, but what they've done here, and again, they're led by a chief technology officer that's attended and graduated, and even a graduate degree from MIT. He knows the search issues, and he's on the detail level, but it is not something that's going to blow you away with just the technology, but really what's happening and what's the good, what's the bad, what to watch for. You may be surprised at all the interactions you have, and you're probably a little more surprised even of what Walmart's doing. And I wanted to get one from ABC, one from NBC, and then obviously the conversation that we had at the Titans meeting there is really important too. I attended that for a couple of reasons, because I knew he had done international. He developed the international market, so the Argentina people coming in was a natural fit for that for his presentation to lead into this, and I wanted to do a few clips from that. And then the other is the obvious thing of how some of these people are flying under the radar, and this company very well could be the U.S. Argentina answer to China's DeepSeek. And those guys in a very short period of time became billionaires, and that's with a B. So it's kind of like we see a lot of people come through here on concerts like Taylor Swift, and some of them caught her when she was an up and comer. Well, think of it this way: these are people are up and coming, and they're really in high demand. And we were able to work it in through some other schedules, and we couldn't tell about the attendance because a lot of people they don't know what the event is because it comes so quickly. But that's the nature of artificial intelligence. You're going to be lost if you don't jump on this and find out about it. And these are the best people because they're a little more applied than theoretical, a lot more applied. And I guess I've got a master's in math, and the reason I didn't pursue a doctorate, I wasn't into the theory. I wanted to be in the applied, and that led to a lot of employment through the years and cable TV software that I took over to over 50 countries out of the Ozarks. How did that happen? Most people don't know. It's an interesting story that I've kind of documented in some of my podcasts as well as on LinkedIn articles. So a lot of things to see and hear here. And again, you can excuse me. I've been diagnosed with Parkinson's since 2016, and I guess since I don't have the tremors, they must be delusional. How can you pull off something like this? That's the funny part, and that's really what I want the people with Parkinson's to know, is that at 81, you can have a side hustle that really could mean a lot to a community and even the nation and in the world. This is a big event. Don't forget that. Please sign up today, show up, and we will have a fun time. We will have a lot of interesting information, and it will be well worth your time. Okay, we're getting down to this final countdown to the March 4th event, and we have some really high-powered artificial intelligence people coming in. I think that some of the information has not been very clear because this is not a tech conference. This is not a bunch of tech people getting together. This is about today. This is about you today and how you interact with artificial intelligence. You get that?
On GMA.
Retailer Walmart has just revealed how it will use artificial intelligence to create a new shopping experience. Elizabeth Schultze spoke with the CEOs behind it. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, George. This year's CES is all about how artificial intelligence can help people in their day-to-day lives, and Walmart is betting big that it will change how we shop in stores and online. We had the opportunity to sit down with the CEOs of Walmart and tech titan Microsoft to talk about the benefits of AI and also its risks. This morning, an ABC News exclusive. Walmart taking us inside its retail revolution, using artificial intelligence to transform the way we shop. At the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, the world's biggest retailer launching new features, like the option to virtually shop with friends, trying on outfits in its app, and instantly getting feedback from those you trust.
You can also share that with someone else digitally to say, do you like this sweater or not? My friends might say no more often than say yes.
Walmart CEO Doug McMillon also touting expanded search capabilities on its site. Customers can now search for a phrase like football watch party instead of individual items to put in your cart.
We get to move away from this baby talk search where we're trying to find chips and drinks and a 90-inch television and say, how do I prepare a great watch party? And it brings back across the top the categories you're looking for and then serves up a list of items that you can choose to host that great party.
The feature uses technology from Microsoft, which has invested billions of dollars into ChatGPT maker OpenAI.
It's all about being able to take the technology, as powerful as it is, but translating it into everyday use cases.
Are you concerned that the guardrails aren't in place for how quickly this technology is moving?
The guardrails have to be developed in parallel with the benefits and the use cases. So this is not something we think about after the fact.
Between juggling groceries and life, sometimes you could really use a little extra help.
Also in the pipeline from Walmart, in-home replenishment, using AI to predict what products you need at home, then delivering them straight to your fridge or closet.
There's a Walmart associate that has a one-time code to our garage door. They put the perishable food in the refrigerator, put the ambient product next to it, and we're in stock.
Some people might hear that and say, that sounds a little bit like a privacy concern. Someone has my garage code, they know what's in my house. That makes me a little bit nervous.
Over time, I think what people have learned is that if you're doing business with someone you trust, and we can save you time, I think there'll be more adoption of this over time where we're literally replenishing the things that people want to have in their homes all the time.
So that updated search function is available now on Apple devices. I pressed Walmart CEO on if there will be bumps in the road as this new tech is rolled out. He said it will get better and smarter as time goes on. Guys.
All right, I know it's about convenience, maybe a little too convenient for me, but thank you so much for that, Elizabeth.
Back now with our series AI Revolution, and in focus tonight, jobs, how they're performed, how they're changing, and the potential risks that AI poses to them. To find out, Jake Ward went to the nation's largest private employer.
Once upon a time, Jose Avila had to have an incredible memory.
Were you supposed to have memorized where everything is?
Yes.
And great shoes.
So I would have to actually take them to the items that they needed, so from one end to the store to the other.
But today, an AI-powered app shows where everything is and needs to go.
It's making my job much easier.
Walmart is already a cost-cutting machine, and yet the company wants to be even more streamlined. Sanjay Radhakrishnan is in charge of making that happen.
How can you possibly grow more efficient than you currently are?
Jacob, that's where I think technology will play a key enabling role. We are transforming our supply chain and our store operations.
And as we saw in this California superstore, AI is how they plan to do it. When trucks arrive to be offloaded, AI has already organized the pallets inside. It looks disorganized to me.
But if I understand correctly, AI is telling you through the phone where everything is and where it should go.
Yes, we'll have to open up our camera and hold up our work device, and then it's going to tell us what boxes need to go out.
Sensors in every aisle spot things as small as a freezer door left open. And AI even organizes the shelves.
Then we can learn and say, okay, did two facings of this do better than maybe putting another brand in there another flavor in there, right?
Walmart is the nation's largest private employer, and what they decide to do when it comes to efficiency sets national standards. So when they decide to adopt AI, it has implications for the whole country.
And that, of course, raises a crucial question for workers.
Does AI, do you think, forecast a world in which you won't need as many humans in this store?
We view technology as helping our associates to evolve physically demanding jobs into more fulfilling, higher skilled job roles. So over time, we believe that we'll be about the same or more number of associates in the company.
As a retail worker, can I sort of relax about my job in the future, do you think?
No, I don't think that you can.
Experts say the number of jobs may remain the same, but people without the right skills won't get them.
There are increasing frictions in the workplace such that it is harder for workers to transition from one job to a new job.
Avila, the store lead, says workers here are happier in the age of AI.
Our headcount and our turnover is much better from 2 years ago. Much better.
Now we'll see how working in a world of low prices and high efficiency compares to shopping in one. Jake Ward, NBC News, Gilroy, California.
So here we are honoring Bobby Martin from Walmart as Titan of industry. You see Jay on the left and Marla on the right. So it's a good opportunity to publicize our upcoming event, March 4th.
So now we're going to have a little conversation with Bobby Martin, our Titan of industry. We've invited Anne-Marie Dillard-Jasek to join us. As you heard, Bobby's career began at Dillard's, and now the next generation of Dillard's leadership is represented by Anne-Marie here to help ask some questions. You'll also have time to ask questions, so we'll have some mics in the audience. So let's talk to you about your career. Anne-Marie, will you go first?
I was so inspired. That video, well, fantastic, but wow, Bobby.
Nice, but I'm going to skip for now. Thanks. So as a retired former top executive, Bob takes this question seriously, but he does it in a way he's very coy about it. As you can see, there's a lot of public information out there about what the consumer is experiencing and how it affects jobs. But I think it's good to see that he sees the importance and he doesn't say anything negative about artificial intelligence. And he, I think, confirms that it's already in place. It's not something that's going to be the next big thing. It's the current big thing.
That's kind of a dark-haired question for a white-haired guy. I know what artificial intelligence is, and I keep up with it enough. But I think, if you don't mind, I'll back up a little bit. I think, for our generation, we're all going to look at COVID is maybe one of the biggest disruptions. Social life, business life, industry, you name it. I don't think we have finished it off yet. It's kind of like the Walmart example I would say as well on the e-commerce. Look, there isn't anybody out there today that I think has blended e-commerce, digital experience, and the store. There's still a lot of evolution to take place. Now here comes something leapfrogging like artificial intelligence. And I think you have to be very careful when you start thinking about it, because the world looks at it, hears about it, and I think generally his reaction is, that's scary stuff. Now, at the same time, it is one incredibly powerful tool. So I think trying to answer your question, things that come to my mind is let's go back to the beginning of why in the early days of technology struggled so much inside industry and inside business. AI, you can't be nerdy with that. People are going to have to really totally understand what it is, how it works, what it means, and not be afraid of it, but again, put it in its rightful place. Again, I'm not an AI person per se, but I know the terminology responsible AI. That means that there's an awful lot there. How do you control it? How do you control it for business? Does it have an ethical implication? Sort of you name it. Definitely, you can't go again make it too technical for business or community. In the case of like what UVLR is doing, but I think it's one that it is the new world. We're not going to escape it at all. But it's quite interesting to think about the kind of things that it's able to do. I haven't had ChatGPT. I'm thinking about having ChatGPT write my eulogy. I'm thinking it might do better than all my friends, but no, I'm teasing. If you play, obviously, with it a little bit, and I kind of understand. I can see it changing workflow, you see it changing all those things, which make a lot of sense. Here you are, the expert. That's your job. You ought to be fielding this question. How did I get in the middle of that? But I think, once again, it's pretty exciting. I think because of things that we used to concern ourselves with, now they get solved. And they get solved in ways that allows innovation to speed up, execution, candidly, to be more certain, sure. And for an old dog in business, looking at my good friend Benny Westfall out there, another old dog, we know execution eats strategy for breakfast. And so anything that now technology or the capabilities that AI promises, it will shape, obviously, a new world. I'd love to hear your comments.
Yeah, I think AI has been around for decades now. It's way older than any of us really think. It's certainly a hot topic right now. But I think the newest is the generative AI, and I think there are so many uncharted waters there. It's fascinating. It's incredible the amount of efficiencies that it can create. It's incredible the amount that it can, help somebody like a programmer write code in multiple different languages, help test that code, and help get them onto bigger projects and kind of focus on bigger things. Maybe that's something we reach out. So I think there's tremendous opportunity, but I also think there's tremendous risk. I think there was a really interesting article in the Wall Street Journal this week about a hack that went on that involved somebody downloading generative AI technology, and there's a lot of risk with that. And I think that's another question I'd like to ask you about is, I've seen over the course of the last 15 years, information security issues just proliferate. Hacks, ransomware, data breaches have just proliferated. Whether it's the Salt Typhoon episode that just happened with all the telecom companies, and apparently they're still listening to all of our phone calls, the Chinese that hacked us, all of our AT&T, Verizon, Lumen, all of the major telecom companies. You hear about $75 million ransoms now. It's becoming quite devastating, and it's also very expensive for companies to constantly have to hire more and more staff and deploy more and more third-party technologies to combat this kind of never-ending ascent of information security technology vulnerabilities and risk. How do you see that affecting technology going forward? AI is exciting, but it's not exciting if it gets you exposed to a $75 million ransomware attack.
No, I mean, those kind of things could scare us away. I think that would be, that'd be a real shame. You know, like, I guess when you kind of look at it, in fact, it's quite interesting. Plug UALR here, you know, earlier today, being on campus, had a chance to look at and see what some of the programs going here, Chancellor, that are very impressive. I will do a miserable job of highlighting some of the competitive wins that this campus right here has produced for the Department of Defense and others. I'll be giving away things I should or something. But to come back, you know, I think to it, my first reaction is, where I responded immediately, I would hate to see that scary threat. I did ask, because I've been curious about it myself, so I asked the technicians in the room we were asking. So AI, when it comes to cybersecurity, is it a friend or is it a foe? You know, even during my time before I finished my board service and a time recently at Gap and stepping in interim as the CEO, I got right up front to knowing what happens. It's not uncommon for large companies today in the course of a year had as many as 1 billion attempts at, you know, one type of, you know, break-in or hack or whatever. So, you know, look, to me, it's not being this glass half full with the mindset. I do believe, just like many things that we've seen over time, that I've seen over my decades, I can tell you there's a lot of reasons why people have said ATMs would never work, or we couldn't, you know, we're way past that line. So I believe that solutions will come. Clearly, AI does have, because I was implementing it during part of our time at Gap, AI, when you do have a hack, can be self-healing, if you will, to the network or to whatever. So picking up more and more on the patterns and so forth that cause these breaches that are very, very serious, that's critical. I think it's interesting from this standpoint. Again, thinking about Kirk Bradbury. If you're in banking, and people are here, if you're in banking, that accepting risk is one level there. For us as retailers, there may be a level of risk that we're willing to take. So it's a matter of how you go about that. Now, never compromising protection of the customer's data and so forth, but you know, once again, I think that it's exciting to believe that we are at this point in time, that I used to say, wow, in 20 years or in 25 years, you won't believe what's going on. Think about that. And now you talk about in 5 years, in 7 years, because that's how we're seeing it come. I have to believe that we will harness, you know, the solutions, and there will be a way to have safe AI. I hope.
I sure do, because it's so exciting.
Yeah.
So Bobby, do you mind if we take a couple questions from the audience now?
Except my very closest friend.
So
not like to allow you to get this.
Please raise your hand.
I like questions.
Herb does in the very front row.
Do I need a mic or anything? Just talk.
Here we go, mic coming your way.
Okay, I don't want to. I've got Parkinson's, so my voice is a little bit softer, but I have a side hobby that's dealing with AI, and I have some experts coming, and we're working with Marla on this, but I wanted to give you a little bit of my credentials. I grew up in Harrison, and all the Walmart people know that's the second store, and if you look around Harrison, they served a radius about 70 miles for Branson, but I wish they'd get away from the melons and the donkeys. The real story is there are a lot of people there that taught Sam retail. Now Sam knew how to market, but he didn't know a whole lot about retail. I had to work there, one of the first employees, and she made a lot of money because she knew how to retail. But the other part I want to tell you is that I've been to all these places you talk about because I've been selling software all over the world. Yuri Damaro can vouch for me, but I've been in Argentina and the people that's coming here are from Argentina, but they have one person that's an MIT grad that's the expert on AI. But the point is that I always like to go to Walmart in all these different countries because you always found out something new and different. And you'd go into Argentina and they might have a lot more appliances or something more suitable for that. But that was what I thought was really important. But what I wanted to get to maybe more a serious question. I know that Walmart has looked at the situation, I think, politically and also across the country, and have cut back on their forecast. And I came from a rural area, and I know that 27% of the Arkansas population really depend on Medicaid, and it's about 800,000 people out of 3 million. And I'm saying that there is a potential when you start cutting out that, and it's a little bit of a political statement, but it's also a market statement. We're going to see hospitals that are going to be shell of what they were, and they're going to see communities. And I think what Harrison did for Walmart, I really like to see, I'm kind of getting emotional, but I'd really like to see Walmart step in and do something for that community.
I will take that message back to Bill Arkansas the second. And thanks for being a part of that incredible history in Harrison, Arkansas. I suspect you have a lot more stories.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Well, I'm finding that people who thought they know me don't know me. So I thought I'd take a brief look back at my history and maybe a little bit more on my credentials for doing podcasts like this. I think people know that I was diagnosed, I was really in 2012, but they didn't get it right. And in 2016, Dr. Vermani at UMS got it right. But people thought maybe, well, he's faking it because he doesn't have tremors like Michael J. Fox. And later on, people like Ryan Reynolds, the actor, and kind of highlighted the fact that people can have Parkinson's and not have tremors. And maybe I'm one of those cases, maybe not. I'll let you decide, but it does take a toll. And it seems like the lower body, as Dr. Vermani said, is worse than the other type of Parkinson's. That's to be determined, but I know that staying active, doing my podcast, and providing some entertainment, information, and other activities for people with Parkinson's has been successful. It's a lot about depression, a lot about anxiety. It's a lot about delusionary thinking. But I think that I've been staying alive with doing this, and will continue to do it and try to be as nice as possible to people, no matter what they think. But I'd like to have your feedback. This has not been sponsored. This is all a self-production, self-directed, and many times I'm the starring actor, I guess. That's going to have to be improved. I'm 81. And when you get 81, you're going to be looking for some assistance on certain things. I think there's some of the things I like to do. I want to continue to do that. But I thought I'd let you see a lot of the fun things, maybe some of my history, and give you a brief commentary on those. Well, I was born in the house next to the service station. As you can see, on February 18th, I was a baby boy, and on February 20th, I was a baby girl. I guess there was something there going on in the trans world I never did know about. Here's a grandparent, Sam Dees, and here's some things later on where I got an offer from NASA. They were going to land on the moon. That was a great thing. And then I went to the CIA, and CIA was even more interesting in the days of James Bond. But I've been doing a lot of service bureau locally. When I came back, and I've said that was for personal reasons that I returned to my home area and started a computer service bureau, and Then I had to do a lot of this and a lot of that in order to survive. I did dog patch, believe it or not, one of my first. And here's looking at my son, Craig Lair, who has been a big success. And here he is with Christy, my daughter, who's been a success too. And there it says, so far as I on cables, cutting edge. We ended up over in Hungary, believe it or not, with UIH. And there I am signing it in with Jim Castle. They came to us, thought we might be kind of interfering with some of their deals. In fact, this is the one that probably tripled my deal, was the deal with Taiwan. I outmaneuvered him for that, and that was a thing that really caused cable data to come after me. And the 90s were crazy. I was nearly bankrupt in the 80s, but in the 90s, we had things on a desktop, and as I said, it was a platform that cut down on the cost and size, and we were open with Microsoft. And we went to all these countries here, believe it or not, because of this guy, one of the richest men at the time, Clooney. And then we had an agreement over in Kuwait, and I was over there. I'd run into Mark Cuban at times at cable shows when he was doing high def. And here's a friend from Parkinson's, John Mertz. He works in Roger. He's a orthopedic doctor. Pete Piper, a good friend. He's in a company that I work with and competed against, and he lives in Atlanta. But we keep contact like a lot of other people that's out there. All right, so some more information for all those that thought they knew me but don't. Here I am in local radio, and here I am over in China. Quite a diversity. And I'll tramping through the Recoleta to find where Evita was born. The millions controlled by disabilities is unbelievable. They say 8, but it could be up to 13. And you can see here that I'm getting notice from David Pogue, CBS Sunday Morning. And I had fun with this on unauthorized autobiography, whatever that is. And there's Pablo and Nora when they lived in New York, in D.C. I stayed with them some. And they're James Cheek. He's got the Little Rock connection. Born in Little Rock, I met him and went out to dinner by Sid Shreve here. We went out to eat with him, and also to his office, a big San Lorenzo's. And there's my grandson. He worked at Epic. And Ken Starr, he spoke at my son's graduation at Duke. Unbelievable. We talked about Hillary and Rose. You see a few things floating by here. And there's top of the rocket, really close to where we live in Harrison. And I posed the question about, can 2 multi-billionaires be wrong? And you can see them. I don't know if you know that guy there. That's Roy Rogers, king of the wild frontier. Now, Dave Woodman was out there taking pictures. There's at Mom L, believe it or not. And here's a little clips of things I've done, and here's a little funny thing on how Little Rock was named. And you can see Bill Geist, Willie Geist, and here is my speech sticker. Speak with intent. Now here's the deep. You could be playing, a lot of different things of that. In Walmart, behind the scenes, an area, we were in a driverless car out in Phoenix. And there's a lot of things to be said up for that, for people with disabilities too. And this is some information that floating around there about one of our speakers. And that was, he's there. And this is, I put the Taylor Swift out there. She got paid $50. Her tickets were when she came, and that was back in 2009. 16 years makes a difference. Well, we know the billionaires over in Hangzhou, China. That was seemed like just 2 or 3 years. So there I am on to the right, and I'm Mr. Six there hanging out. And there my yellow dog Democrat beauty shop operator decided I need to look like Trump. And when you think about all the things that's floating around, and I diagnosed that he had Parkinson's. I did an interview with Frank O'Mara, and there's my doctor, Dr. Turan Vermani, and I did one with Dr. Dahl, who heads up neurology. And there's old Dave Woodman. I was trying to fake him out there with Ron Burgundy, and here's a great person who's been of help, Erica Dunn. She helped me with making contact with Dr. Dahl, whose father has Parkinson's. And this, John Michael Hudson did that picture. And here we are with, I'm sure it's what people think about with artificial intelligence. And here's the artificial intelligence guy. And here's the preacher. He had to change over to the Razorbacks. He was a big Kentucky fan because of John Calipari. And he's one of my favorite interviews with Frank O'Mara. And there's the old Ron Burgundy people that I tried to emulate. And here I am, hidden in a group over in Hangzhou, China, waiting to be on TV. See, there's Dave Woodman using an old camera, and he's out there taking pictures. Roy Rogers on the left. He's there with the Odoms, believe it or not. And there's Robin Roberts, back in her days with ESPN. I think you all know him. He's coaching Tennessee now. But that was Texas. I got this from Eddie Sutton on my 40th birthday. And there's old Joe Klein. You can see a lot of different people there. Hanging out. There's the Rock Steady Boxing Group. And Brian King. He's one of my favorite politicians. And Steve Sullivan, he's my favorite sports guy. And Sidney Langford, he's my favorite Razorback. He's always accommodating. There's Erica Dunn in one of her many jobs. And there is Pablo Albion, his wife Nora, and Frank. And here we are at the big tech center over at the UA Little Rock. And I got opportunity to talk to the people there. And you can see Jay Gadsberry on the left. And there was Marlon on the right. And hey, this is my favorite thing for my foot wound is that. One funny story, when being in New York a lot, I got to meet a lot of famous people there. And so that was interesting. And here I am in my full-blown Argentina number 10. And I had this put on the back. One of the best ever, Messi. And I'm messy in the kitchen. Unlikely player. There's Jim Cramer at a cable show. Local news was really good at that time. I always try to give a shout out to the people that helped on that. And here's our trip to Phoenix. And Pablo Albion, that's probably one of his first cards that I got. And I met Mark Cuban at cable shows. He had a high definition channel. And there's the famous Zubar with his MIT background. And this is a company that's made all the noise. And I think it's one that the group from Argentina could really compete against very well. And there's a local newscaster that we got to know each other. And there's the Argentina ambassador. I got to know him. I was on a flight or two back to Little Rock. And here I am over in Hangzhou. I don't know, it came out in a publication. I put an arrow down to show where I am. Mark Cuban, he occasionally chimes in. And there's old Jay Billis. That's a long time ago. And we were at ESPN. Digger Phelps there. And here's a costume party for people with Parkinson's. You can see me on the right. Again, I'm hiding out. I used to work at CIA, so I'm hiding out there in China. And you come across people here. Of course, you see a lot. This is the first apprentice. And there, Jim Kramer again. That's a funny story how I got in that booth. The Mannings, back in the days, they were a lot younger than I was. There's old Gus Malzahn. He came, Harrison, and he, he was an imitator, and Fitz. He brought his family up. He did several Kiwanis programs. Now, I was standing there in Buenos Aires where that picture was made. Here's Mark Cuban in his early days. And Leslie Stahl, her husband, died of Parkinson's. And Sidney Moncrief, coming to our golf tournament. And even old Rex, he came up to a golf tournament at the Kiwanis. These are some fake. Obviously, the Kennedy picture is fake. And here's a great lady, nurse, or doctor. Mannings again. Fitz again. And there is the star of the show, Dr. Dean. He's been helping me with my wound at the wound clinic. Great man. Gwen, she's I like Gwen a lot. We communicate on Facebook. And there's Dr. Ackerman. His mother died of cancer. Died of Parkinson's. Back to my hero, Dr. Dean. And there's the star of the show, Jay Gadberry. He steps in when you need him. No questions asked. He just gets on the phone. And there's Ackerman. He was up at inauguration on the left. He must have spent some money there. And here I am out in the Amazon. Here's Pablo in an official tie. These two guys were really good friends. John Paul Hammersmith, Jim Guy Tucker. I got to help them facilitate meetings. And, I've got friends for Wild West, and there's Marla. She's been helpful. And she jumped in. She wanted to help. She really got sidetracked with a lot of different projects. She's kind of starting out over at UA Little Rock. So we could have done some things better, but she really was a big help getting things going. Well, I think it's worth time to go through and do a few wrap-ups, so we're going to do that now. So stay tuned. Well, here's the old pros, Ray Tucker, Dave Woodman, and you can see the smiling preacher, Bryce, and here is my aunt, one of the first employees, and she did a poem at Sam's funeral. And here's Craig and Wendy. And here's two guys out smiling at each other, Jay Gadberry and Gary Adams. An old friend, JJ. He hangs over on the wall, always watching me. This is one of my first projects, Dog Patch, I was out doing there. And here's another Argentina friend. And, of course, Steve Sullivan did come up and do a golf tournament in Harrison. There was as a teacher. Maybe some people don't realize that Fayetteville I was the teacher while I was getting my master's. And here's her family at Easter. And there's my Duke and Razorback. I can be a fan of both. Okay, there's over Taj Mahal. I was over there in New Delhi and doing an exhibit. I was using her product. Oh, there's old Rex. He keeps popping up here. And the star of the show, Annabelle Childers. She's up in Cleveland. There's a Christmas picture with her family, and here I am with my buddy. He never talks back. And there's another buddy. He enjoys being on my lap. And this is with a Thanksgiving with an immediate family. And here is the Parkinson's disease awareness.